welcome everybody to our admin meeting for Thursday, September 28th. Anybody else who's here?
Let's see. Online, we have Andrew Chorney, Bryce Christensen, Cheryl Hartman, Alicia Beckholtz, Kyla Leonard, and MCAT. In 206, we have Commissioner Slotnick, Vero, Carrie Powers, Amy Bristow, Sarah Bell, Annie Cathy, Chris Lounsbury, and John Hart.
Thanks. All right. So before we dive in, do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we're going to jump right to the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda anyone would like to pull out and talk about?
Oh, very generous, Alan Jeans.
That is the one thing I wanted to point out to you, Commissioners. That was a donation from a resident up in Sealy Lake for the 4 speed signs.
Okay.
That is on your consent agenda today. Just for the public to be aware, that was a donation by a private citizen up there who wanted to see some speed signs. Up in Sealy that
Super generous of Mr.
Chief Public Works Officer Shane Stack has been working with.
Great.
And there's a thank you letter forthcoming.
Oh, good job.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for Dr. Jeans.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that. And once again, anybody want to comment on anything in here? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks. So it does look like
It's the Nancy
the
show.
Nancy show followed by the Sarah show.
The Nancy show.
Actually,
Sarah show. It's all Sarah.
Well, Sarah all morning long.
Nancy's in Hawaii.
Nancy.
So I'm covering for her today. And so the first 11 items are Nancy's Community Assistance Fund items. So there's 11 contracts on the agenda today out of 20 total CAF items. So she'll bring those others to you, I believe, next week. So I will just give a brief overview. I know Nancy could go into detail, but do you want me to just run through each of them and then make a motion?
Sure.
Okay. And Josh, if you want to add anything, since you sat in on the review committee.
Can I say one little thing to start?
Yeah.
Just that Nancy did a great job. As usual, she's so organized. Does an amazing job of pulling together a very large amount of information and convening a process that I feel like was thorough and also helpful for the applicants. So there were folks who didn't get all the money they wanted or didn't get any money, but in the process, they got some education on how they could do better next time. Nancy was really masterful at all that.
Mm-hmm. She does an excellent job. So I guess just as a recap for anyone who doesn't know, the Community Assistance Fund is levied by the Board of County Commissioners every year to provide human services and establish a safety net or continuum of services for at-risk and vulnerable populations to meet basic human needs of food, shelter, medical services, and emergency transportation. So the first on the agenda is for the YWCA and the amount of $71,250 to support their family housing center, which provides intensive case management and around-the-clock support necessary for unhoused families to achieve stable housing. The second is also for the YWCA in the amount of $47,556. And this is to support their Pathways Domestic Violence Shelter, which is trauma-informed services to survivors of domestic and sexual violence, including the shelter and aftermath of crisis. So it's more of around-the-clock services for those folks.
But this is not Meadowlark, or why am I confusing Meadowlark?
It is the Meadowlark.
Oh, it is.
Sorry,
Okay.
Added that in there. The third is under the medical services category for the Sealy Lake Community Foundation, for their medical shuttle services in the amount of $17,823. So this shuttle helps provide folks transportation to get to their medical appointments that they wouldn't otherwise be able to get to from Sealy. See, the fourth item is for the Poverello Center in the amount of $27,401 for their HOT team, which is the homeless outreach team. And as you all know, they serve individuals in the Missoula area who are resistant to accessing shelter services to past trauma or incidents. The fifth item is for Mountain Home, Montana. in the amount of $23,072. This is just to, again, help provide support for the shelter, basic needs, and holistic wraparound services for young mothers and their children who need help with shelter to help them get stable and then get back on their feet and integrate back into the community. Sixth item is again for Poverello Center, and this is more of just their shelter operation expenses in the amount of $25,932, and helps support their rapid intake and referral service so that folks have immediate assessment and offers resources to anyone who comes to the shelter seeking assessment or assistance. The seventh item is for Missoula Interfaith Collaborative in the amount of $16,000. Provides support for the Housing Advocate Networks Diversion Program. So again, just helps people, provides financial and case management assistance to keep clients housed in order to divert them from a shelter and reserves space for those. Sorry, my notes aren't so great on this one. It just helps people stay housed who are on the verge of losing their homes. So it helps kind of just provide that buffer for them, help them with financial services. Watson's Children's Shelter is the eighth item in the amount of $30,784. Provides emergency shelter and advocacy assistance to children who've experienced neglect or family crisis. The ninth item is for Missoula Aging Services in the amount of $40,000. This is to support their congregate meals to older adults throughout Missoula County. And it also provides nutrition education and the opportunity to socialize and combat isolation for adults over 60. The 10th item is for Community Food and Agricultural Coalition in the amount of $68,126 to support the Double SNAP Dollars program. This ensures that folks who receive SNAP dollars have access to fruits and vegetables year round. And item number 11, in the amount of $62,100 goes to Missoula Food Bank and Community Center to provide support for the Kids in Power Pack program, which helps provide healthy meal and snacks for kids when they are not in school. And Josh, if you want to add anything that I forgot.
Oh, those are great. Thanks.
I have a question with 9 with aging services and where via congregate meals, where are the congregate meals settings?
Rural communities in Sealy Lake, Condon, Lolo, and Bonner.
Okay.
Do you know how
Is
that's?
there one in Frenchtown too?
Yeah.
I went to an event in Frenchtown. Maybe it wasn't.
I believe that one is actually done by their church.
Oh,
Churches there in town. The other ones are actually done by.
Was that one at the fire station?
Yeah.
I think Tom Tucker coordinates that.
Okay.
He's a community council member, but that is separate from the community council. It's kind of their seniors group that has been meeting for a long time. They actually received rural grant funding for their coffee cart. And
Oh, I remember that. I remember the coffee cart thing. Yeah. I guess what else I could add to this is not only did Nancy do a good job, a great job, we had a couple volunteers from the communities that have helped for years that are well versed in the nonprofit sector and in social services and really value their help as well. It's great stuff. I mean, we're partnering with all these entities that are doing things that in some ways prevent people from losing their homes, prevent people from getting really sick, and make sure that they get a good start in life, all the kind of things that we'd like to see that we can't do on our own. And these entities can't do on their own, but when we partner, we can really make some headway.
I move to approve items 1 through 10, even though it's not enough money.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Rio, 1 through 10 or 1 through 11?
Yeah, I don't like the Empower Pack program.
I didn't know if you intentionally segregated that one.
Kids don't need food over the weekend. No, 1 through 11. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. All right, I'll second that. And anybody want to comment? Anybody online? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks for doing the presenting.
You're welcome. Yeah. The next few items are for alcohol tax funds. And there will be a few more contracts coming next week that are still being wrapped up. But today before you, there's 5 different contracts for the alcohol tax funds, which, just as a recap, are state dollars that are generated from alcohol tax sales, and the state gathers all those sales and then distributes a percentage to each county. And then as commissioners, you decide which percentage of that percentage to allocate to state approved agencies.
How is that percentage arrived at? Yeah, this question, or do you?
So we presented it to you, I think, back in June. So yeah. So as staff, we get the list of state approved agencies, and then we ask them to submit to us a letter of interest and provide how they would use the funding. And then it goes through a review committee internal, and then the percentage is presented to the commissioners as a suggested allotment to each of the agencies based on the letter of interest that they presented to us.
And the percentage that comes to the county before we go
sorry.
out, how is that like the, how is that arrived at?
It's 20% of alcohol sales, and then and is based on the population for each county is how much is distributed to counties.
So it's 20% of alcohol sales across the state, and then it's just it's a population equation.
Correct. Yep. So it varies every year. The amount went up during COVID, and it is now starting to go back down to where it was before COVID. So the dollar amount changes every year. We don't know the dollar amount until you've already made a motion of the percentage to allocate to each of the agencies. So it's kind of, it's just a little bit tricky.
Well, it's hard for the agencies to I have no idea what they're going to receive.
Mm-hmm.
And does it fluctuate a lot?
Not a whole lot. I mean, a couple thousand.
Is this retail sales of alcohol or bars as well? Bars and restaurants.
Good question. There's alcohol sales across.
I believe it's collected at the distributor level so that it's.
So it's everybody.
It's easier.
That would make sense. It's kind of like gas.
Yes, it's collected by the distributor. The state authorizes distributors. It's collected by the distributor.
Well, then it's everything, which makes good sense. Yeah. Thanks.
It's really beautiful on Sentinel right now.
Yeah, the sky's been really good yesterday and today.
Sorry.
Good distraction from alcohol.
Yeah.
So this year, I'll just list off the agencies who have applied and who will be getting funding. So it's All Nations Health Center, Guided Healing Trails, Western Montana Mental Health Center, Cedar Creek Integrated Health, Stepping Stones Behavioral Health, Open Aid Alliance, Recovery Center of Montana, and Crosswinds Recovery. So those are all the agencies who will be receiving funding. And today there's just 5 on the agenda.
If I remember right.
Isn't done yet, or?
Right. So we're just working on some contract.
Yeah, I was saying, if I remember right, you were very helpful with them, which we really appreciate, given that there's not a lot of sober living homes out there. We're one of the few entities that are doing it. So thanks.
You're welcome.
And they, given that they're a new agency, needed a little bit more assistance in navigating this sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of just a tricky route to navigate with the conversation from the state to the county and the state's list.
And this is
updated accurately.
This is the same kind of education that Nancy was doing, and you're doing, and a lot of people in your positions wouldn't go that far. We appreciate it.
Makes it for a better process in the long run.
Yeah.
So the first one on the agenda is for All Nations Health Center in the amount of $61,065.50. And the 50 cents is just due to the way the percentage breakdown worked out. So usually you don't see 50 cents on that contract, but that's why that's there. This supports their behavioral health program, specifically around addiction and mental health services and culturally based substance use prevention and intervention for the American Indian Alaska Native families in our community. Guided Healing Trails. This supports in the amount of $17,886.50 supports their Living a Balanced Life outpatient addiction services and support groups. So it's weekly groups, and it's a different topic every week to help them through their addiction and how to process that. The third is Western Montana Mental Health Center and the amount of $61,065.50 to support their Graham House, which is an inpatient level 3.1 residents, and then also their intensive outpatient programming. It provides integrated behavioral health services to folks on outpatient level. The third is Cedar Creek Integrated Health, amount of $16,978.50. They're really focusing on chemical dependency evaluations at their clinic and then also at the Missoula Detention Facility. They're partnering with them and driving over and doing evaluations there. And the last one is for Stepping Stones Behavioral Health, an amount of $48,510. And again, intensive outpatient addiction treatment services to anyone in Missoula County really wanting to reduce the barrier of treatment options.
Good.
I move to approve items 12 through 16.
I'll second that and call for any comment. Anybody want to say anything about any of this? Okay, give them that. All in favor? Aye. Thanks, Tansa.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, Kyla. So Kyla's, there she is. We'll talk about the appointing members to the fair event committee.
Yep. Hi, commissioners. We have 3 terms set to expire September 30th, 2023. Jane Kelly and Adam Sadler, both current members, submitted letters of interest and are eligible to continue serving. Campbell Barrett resigned, leaving a regular member seat vacant. So this would be to reappoint Jane Kelly and James Sadler to 3-year terms through September 30th, 2026 to the Fair Event Committee.
All right. Any thoughts? Anything?
I don't have any hesitation, regrets, comments.
Great.
Does anyone else?
Nope, sounds like a good thing to do.
I motion the slate that Kyla presented.
I'll second. Any comment? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for managing all this stuff, Kyla.
Of course, thank you.
All right. Any correspondence to talk about?
Okay.
Thanks for all the thank you letters that you guys had to do last week.
Yeah, did that all happen? Or
Yeah,
we
you'll
just-
see them next week.
Okay,
Shane's
great.
Shane's coming.
Perfect. Oh, so that was the next thing I was going to mention. So, all right, then I think we're done.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
All later.